Of course, we know Ben Shabbat is the winner of the local Jeremy Allen White lookalike contest, but he's also a mental health expert, therapist, life coach, and we wanted to bring him in for a fun conversation about the power of music. Ben, it's so great to see you. Thank you for your time today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I was on once before, so I appreciate you inviting me back.
Yeah, obviously, we got a chance to talk a little bit about the contest before, but I want to kind of tap into what you do on a regular basis. And as I was thinking and seeing, this Oasis reunion, the Backstreet Boys at the Sphere, especially for millennials, this is a point where like that connection to music is really kind of having an impact on them this summer.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I know what you mean. Music has this powerful ability to tap into deep emotions. Um, it connects with something primal in us, I think, and it can bring out feelings we didn't even know we were holding on to. And it can also even bring us back to very specific memories, kind of like emotional snapshots of our lives.
I mean, especially thinking about like these two bands, and obviously you're speaking from a millennial perspective because obviously my parents aren't super excited about this, and maybe younger
Yeah.
generations aren't super excited. But for like a certain group of people, I mean, these are the years when maybe this was the first CD you bought, or maybe the first concert you went to, or maybe when you turned 21. When you're out with your friends or out in college, the songs that you listen to. I mean, talk a little bit about maybe those formative, like high school, college years, and how those memories kind of take us through life.
Yeah, that's a great question, and that's spot on to what I was alluding to. Um, I think there's just something about the way our brains and bodies store music. It feels different from other experiences, kind of like deeper. And that's why concerts, festivals, they can feel so emotional, even cathartic, because a song plays or a band comes on and it immediately triggers, or at least for me, for other people I've talked to, it can take me back to a very specific moment in my life where it's almost like everything else in that memory revolves around the song. Whereas if I think about some other, input, some other sensation that was happening at that time, it wouldn't evoke all the other associated memories like music does. So I can hear a song and I remember exactly, or I have an image of exactly where I was, what I was doing, how I was feeling. A very, like you said, kind of during a formative year, maybe a transitional period in your life. But yeah, there's something about music that it hits us at that level, and it's so cool. I love when that happens to me, and it catches you off guard, and all of a sudden it's like mental time travel. You're somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk a little bit about Oasis. I mean, this was the first one, obviously, the catalyst for this conversation. But, the two brothers have been feuding, and obviously, a lot of people maybe feud with their own family members. And after like 15 years, they came on stage and they're hugging, and men in the audience are crying. They're kind of reliving these moments, and it's being called the Eras Tour for dads. So it's,
Yeah.
I think a lot of the times too, I mean, when you think about men and maybe showing their emotions, you think birth and deaths and maybe sporting events. But with music, this is kind of that first moment at least I've seen where people are just like openly weeping and hugging strangers and just kind of being out that way in a concert, space.
That's a really great point. I agree with you. It happens for everybody, but especially for men who are often conditioned to suppress emotion. Music becomes a safe space to actually feel, whether it's joy or grief or nostalgia or hope. It kind of gives you permission to connect with what's inside. And that's probably why you don't see it nearly as much in other settings. You feel free at the concert and all these emotions are coming up and it's cool, and it's needed.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I've seen reports of like sons and dads connecting over the music, and obviously, some fathers and sons, and fathers and daughters, connect over sports or other activities. But for
Yeah.
those that connect over music, this is kind of a nice time to like maybe this is what they listen to in their parents' home, but also maybe reminds them of a family and be able to share, this family connection.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be different, the story based on everybody's family. But yeah, I agree with you. It connects people on a level. And whether it's, the songs themselves tell a story, the music, the lyrics. And there's so many songs that we can just relate to.
Yeah.
It's like it sounds good, the beat catches you on one level, and then you hear the lyrics and you're like, wow, this song is actually great. The thing that they're talking about. The interesting thing is sometimes you find out that when you actually look into what the lyrics are about, it has nothing to do with what you originally imagined, you know. And I always find that to be a cool experience, is how everybody can listen to a song and have a totally different interpretation based on their own experiences, upbringing, time of life when they heard the song, etc. And so, yeah, songs mean so many different things for different people, and it's so cool.
Yeah, no, especially, kind of learning those meanings. But I know, like, for me now, if I'm running, if I'm cleaning the house, if I'm stuck in traffic, those 80s and 90s songs are the things that I'm pulling out because that's gonna like keep my my
Yeah.
emotions in check while kind of going through those certain things. I mean, is that kind of a pretty common thing that you kind of find it in your practice, or that people kind of say either soothes them during these like tense times that they have in their lives?
Yeah, music is a fantastic coping strategy. It can shift your mindset so quickly. I mean, you can be down a cycle of negative thinking, and you hear a song, and again, it just takes you to another place. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever watched the movie Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
But there's that one scene where he just says, you know, I'm going to my happy place, when he gets frustrated when he's golfing. And you just see all these things that he's imagining, and it's the music and all these good things happening. That's the exact same experience many people get from hearing, a song that they have a connection to. Um, you know what's weird? Sometimes, and I know this is somewhat of a frequent phenomenon, but if I'm working out, like let's say I'm going for a run, I could be pretty far into the run and really tired and getting worn out. And a song can come on that, again, transports me to a different place.
Yeah.
And I go from being so hot and fatigued to like a chill with goosebumps.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's
100%.
this new energy just came over me, like I hadn't already ran 5 miles, you know? And so music definitely, I don't know scientifically exactly how that works, but the mind is a powerful thing, and music taps in to some element of that.
Oh, exactly too. I mean, I find that too when I exercise for a long period of time. If I'm training for a race, it's like I have to know every song
Yeah,
to be my jam, because otherwise I'm like I'm going home. I'm done. Yeah.
absolutely. So I always recommend, when working with clients, that they listen to music and figure out what songs take them to that good space mentally, and yeah, just getting in the habit of turning it on.
And then also too, let's take a moment to talk a little bit about the Backstreet Boys in Las Vegas. They're doing a residency there. Obviously, this huge sphere. I mean, I've been there. It's insane, the space, but it's a trip that you're planning. It's almost like, maybe almost say like almost like a wedding. Where it's almost like recalling those memories from your teenage years or your grade school years. Planning the
Yeah,
trip. What are you going to wear? What are you going to do while you're out there? But maybe experiencing that moment, and then when you come back, almost like people kind of have like that wedding. I forgot what what the term is, but like, oh my goodness, like all that planning part is over. I mean, how do you still kind of keep that high from maybe experiencing these concerts over the summer, and kind of keep um, your emotions in check, after that?
well, I think you keep the memory alive in your mind, in your soul. You keep it alive with pictures, with videos that you took, reminiscing with the people that you went to the thing with. And what's cool about an event like that is it's so much more than just the event, than just like the 2 or 3 hours you're at the wedding. Because what you said is spot on. It's about looking forward to the event.
Yeah.
That's part of the experience. It's like you're planning for it, you're talking about it. And so I never think about an event in terms of just the time that it's happening. It's everything leading up to it. It's the memory that's built in after the fact. It's the feeling you get when you reminisce about it. And so those things are they're well worth it. And they shouldn't just be measured by the thing that happens at the specific, at the specified time. It's everything that goes into it that makes it awesome.
I mean, let's talk a little bit too, especially about like given, and obviously I'm talking about a specific group of like time period, whether it's like grade school or high school or college years, but a lot of people are planning, at least I've seen in my friend circles, are planning trips with those like special friends. So it's not like their spouse, or they could be going alone, but they're like, I want to relive this time with these
Yeah.
people from this part of my life. I mean, talk a
Uh-huh.
little bit about that, and maybe reconnecting, because obviously not everyone's going to be going to these shows, but if you have a certain memory, maybe connecting with someone who means something that maybe you haven't talked to in a while.
Companionship is key. I mean, that boosts positive mental health in so many ways. Being around friends, being social, being around family, all of those things release a lot of the feel good chemicals in your brain. And there's we're humans are social creatures, so there's an evolutionary reason that it happens like that, whether we feel good being around other people, and we derive so much pleasure in that. And so yeah, a shared experience, it's like a war story, or like a tribe story, like just
Yeah.
something you guys can always go back to. It's because we don't just live in the external world. A lot of our experience is internal, and so that's why even when you're not with your friends, all the thoughts, the feelings, the memories, they're still alive in here. They don't just disappear,
Yeah.
and so I think when you get together with people and you have those conversations and you're enjoying company, it just reinforces all of that, and that's why it's such a feel good time.
Are you finding that the same thing, kind of maybe we're talking about like millennials or Gen X that you find with maybe Gen Z or some of the younger kids that you work with? Because I hear a lot about that third space of like, you have home, you have school or work, and then people are missing that, bar that they would hang out in, or the college experience or the sports. And there's not really there, especially during the pandemic and kind of
Yeah.
afterwards, and people just kind of addicted to their phones and not really having that third space, for themselves. Is that, when I think of like the Oasis songs, I mean, that's the, 2 o'clock and 2 a.m.
Yeah.
on the jukebox, you're holding your friend's hands, you're all screaming the lyrics out together. I mean, sharing
Yeah.
those memories. Are you finding that maybe some of the younger generations aren't kind of having that same kind of experience with, especially, maybe with music?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely that fine line of, for example, social media or technology, the internet in general, and all the benefits it provides, but also it's so easy to go down the road of isolation.
Yeah.
And so you don't want that to take the place of real life interactions with other people. And no, I don't think it's the same thing. I don't think it's the same experience when you're communicating with somebody online versus in person, or even like this, the telechats. Um, so yeah, that space can be lost. It's lost in another way though, which is that even when people do go out, they're consumed by their phone, and that's to me almost more problematic, right? You actually put in the effort to go out, and you show up to the bar, you show up to the event, and rather than speaking with the people who are around you, you're kind of just scrolling through your phone.
Yeah.
And it's become this like alternate reality, and people forget that this is real, that this is just a thing, and this is real.
Yeah.
And it becomes, because the phone is so in your face and it's so exciting and it's so stimulating, um, it draws your attention. And it's important, I think, to just sometimes put your phone away. People never go out without their phones anymore. Try it out. Try it out for an afternoon. I bet that you will be surprised at how much more engaged you are with the environment in a healthy way, with the people around you, how much you pay attention to things like the sun, the sound of the birds, the conversation you're having with people. I mean, honestly, they do research on this. Just having the phone in your pocket is a distraction. Just knowing it's there, isn't it? But like, we're so conditioned at this point to do it. And again, it's not all bad, but we definitely should be aware of the loss that comes with it, or the potential loss.
Yeah, I mean, you also think, and this is be the kind of the final thing that we kind of wrap up on, is that when you think about certain generations, was, everything is on your phone now, but you wanted to listen to the Backstreet Boys, you had to drive or have your parents drive you to the mall to
Yeah.
buy the CD to bring it home. You wanted to watch a movie, you had to go to Blockbuster, you had to go to the, not everything was just accessible. It was like a 30-minute drive to wherever,
Yeah.
experiencing that without a phone, coming back. And I think that's probably why these two bands really mean so much to people, because it was like the effort you had to take. It wasn't just 10 seconds, oh, I don't like them, switch to the next song. It was, this means so much to me. I'm going to leave my house and do this particular thing. And I think that's probably why maybe people who don't understand that connection, you
I
know,
know.
as that time and place of like the effort you had to go through to kind of experience your favorite things.
It's very interesting. And there's even more to all of those stories, which is like you get dropped off, you don't have a phone to meet up with people. So it's like predetermined where you're going to meet up. Well, how long are you going to wait for your friends when they're running late, you know? And your life just seemed to take more twists and turns because you didn't have it all right here. And sometimes you just had to figure things out on the spot and, yeah, put a lot more effort into the planning and dealing with unforeseen situations. But yeah, if it's something you care about, you just made it happen. And that's just how people lived. And
Yeah.
so you didn't have the whole world and everything you needed at your fingertips at all times.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your time today. It was a wonderful conversation. I mean, obviously, music brings us back to a certain time. It brings us a certain level of comfort. Maybe reunites us with some of those people from our childhood that maybe we don't talk to all the time, but bring us a certain level of comfort because I think your spouse knows you in a certain way, your partner knows you, your current coworkers, but there's something about people in those kind of formative years that know you maybe in a different way. Maybe you don't want everyone to know that now, but
Yeah,
they definitely know you in a different way.
it's a different side of you for sure.
Wonderful. Ben, thank you so much for your time today.
Rudy, thanks for having me on. You're really great at what you do. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're the best. Thank you. We'll see you soon.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye bye.